Hello everybody! Today I'm back with another deck for you, and this time I'm looking at Henselt. I haven't really touched him for a long time, along with the other Northern Realms leaders actually. Been playing a lot of Meve, and I think it's time we switched that up a little bit. So I've got a Henselt deck here, which is focused around the concept of Draug and a lot of human dudes. Getting that Draug very big. Very nice long rounds when your engines don't get answered all over the place. And very fun deck overall. So yeah, let's jump into the cards and see what is going on. So we do have Henselt, of course, and he's going to be pulling out usually a Lyrian Arbalist, although sometimes can be a Kedweni Revenant, can be a Dun Banner as well, even a Blue Stripe Scout occasionally as well. But you're typically wanting to save that leader for round 3, as you do with most of these, very one-turn power play style leaders. If you can get that off in round 3 where the points matter, it's really powerful. So we're often going to be pulling Lyrian Arbalists in round 3 if we haven't played them earlier in the game, or as I said, some other combination of bronzes. So he's there just for a lot of tempo and to get engines on the board where they hopefully can't be answered. Since you're running a lot of Revenants and other units that are, nice to be pulled out of the deck, it's probably better than running Meve here. We don't have Anna, we don't have Tridem, and we can play other units that are relying more on orders and such in the bronze core, so that's why we're running Henselt. As for the bronzes, well, what have we got? We've got the Revenants, which are just very nice value when they stick. Typically, these are just like removal magnets more than anything. Lyrian Arbalist is very nice with all the order units you've got. Typically, those can, ping off some of the Thrive units, the engines, whatever the opponent's running. We have Commandos, which are actually kind of the core of the bronze package of the Commandos and the Scouts. They work together in tandem, along with Drummer to potentially give them Zeal and pull them out. And you want these guys, because they're very, very powerful with Draug in combination. You can get a lot of humans on the board, of course, and then turn them all into Revenants. We also have Pavetta to synergize with that. She'll allow you to shuffle back your Commandos if you use them earlier in the game, and allow you to effectively reuse them and get a very, very nice swing. And in conjunction with that, we also have Necromancy to revive, a Commando if, the opponent is removing them or whatever. Later on, or if you want to Necromancy and then Pavetta to guarantee you have the Commando on board to pull them out, that's another option. We also have Dun Banner just for a little bit of removal and point swing, I guess. It's just an okay bronze in this style of deck. Order is proccing the Lyrian Arbalist, and the damage is, of course, just nice. It does have one reach, which is a bit of a drawback, but Sabrina can punish Rose stacking if the opponent goes for that, so it's not the end of the world. And what else do we have? Well, we do have that Sabrina. Typically, you can kill her with Ogfist or, some form of damage from Revenants or Arbalist, and she'll just be a nice way to clean up a lot of points. We also have Vincent to kind of deal with big monsters, things like Goliath and Spear Tip or whatever get wrecked by him. We have Witches for a bit of thinning. You have Vess for the Zeal and the damage, very useful. You can give Zeal to Ogfist or your Revenants, for example. We have Margarita as a kind of a nice lock that also procs the Lyrian Arbalists, and, she can be played and not lock something immediately if you need to go for that route. Unicorn Caronyx are pretty good, of course, and Botchling is also a pretty amazing card in Northern Realms. So that's pretty much the deck. Quite straightforward. You're playing for that kind of massive human board later in the game with Draug, setting up with Commandos, Pavettering them back in, and hopefully finding a lot of Kedweni Revenant value later in the game, along with some other engines and tempo swings. So pretty fun deck overall, and I was having a reasonable amount of success with it. So let's jump into a game or two and see how it plays. Alright, first opponent's going to be Meve. Let's see if we can overcome her. Northern Realms Mirror. So we've got Witches, we need to get rid of one of those, of course. And the rest of the hand is pretty solid. We have that Pavetta combo with all the Blue Stripes guys. If we are able to keep him on the board, it would be really, really lovely. We might even want to mulligan Dun Banner and look for some way to give our guys Zeal. Something like the Drummer or the Vess would be great. I think I'm going to go for that. Oh no, I got a Witcher. That's not good news. But I'm sure it'll be fine. We are on red coins, so we'll just take a pass at some point in this round if we need to, and not have to play it all out. Ogfist is so good for those long rounds as well, and that synergy with Sabrina. I don't know if I mentioned it, but going to be an Avalax start. That's pretty daunting, to be honest. We don't have any way to answer it, so presumably Goto is going to come down and we need to survive that. But I think for now we're just going to be chilling out and playing commandos. Hopefully they'll stick on the board. If we play this and a couple of scouts here, we'll save the Arbalist for round 3 with Henselt, and we can Pavetta maybe in round 2 on the Draug pass or something. If they're not, you know, worried about this engine from us, I guess you can call this an engine, it's not really, but it's a removal target. If they're not worried about that, then we can do the thinning, and we can also get rid of scouts and set up Pavetta for later, so we'll do that now. Should be quite nice. It's now pretty much impossible to remove both of these at the same time, so that's cool. And yeah, we'll keep it rolling. This is going to be very, very painful. So we probably don't want to stay around much longer after the 7 cards. On the bright side, you know, round 3, if we go first, we can double Lyrian Arbalist, and that really allows you to kill a lot of the opponent's units. Their early setup that they want to do, if you have those Arbalists on the board, translates to a lot of damage. So we've got the Pavetta ready for later. There's not much more to do here other than, yeah, potentially just take a pass. We are ahead in points right now, but of course with Goto that won't remain the case. So we could play the Okvist if we really wanted to push a little bit more, but I just don't feel like there's much of a need. We've got 2 of the very valuable engines from the opponent. We could play on, but I suppose now that... Nah, Commando, we need to shuffle all of them back together, so can't Pavetta. We'll just take the pass. Very early one, and we might be a little bit vulnerable to all of Meave's stuff, but hopefully we won't get crushed in the long round and we can have at least a bit of a chance in that round, especially after Pavettering and whatnot. So that hand we probably have to keep. We could get rid of the Arbalist, I suppose, if we want to. Yeah, we probably want to do that, because that's most likely our target for Henselt here.
Quick and painful.
Now, what we could do is Necromancy our blue stripe and then Pavetta it, if we'd rather go that, you know, way of pulling them out. I don't think it's necessary here. Instead, I'm just going to play the Pavetta. Then we can find one of these commandos when we, you know, take a mulligan or whatever. And we can play Witches if they pass, we can play Botchling if they don't. We can play Arbalist as well and commit with Henselt, potentially an Eternal 2. If the opponent incentivizes that. We will see. And yeah. Unicorn Coronex is pretty hot. Can maybe use that later. To great effect. But, I mean, yeah, they can play another card without risking anything, so may very well see that. Nope, just going to be the pass instead. I think we'll take those Witches so that we don't have as many bricks. We still got Commandos, of course, in the deck, which count as, you know, bricked cards if we draw too many of them. So we've got to have some mulligans available to deal with that eventuality, and apart from that, we just want to enable our Henselt as well, of course. Getting a unit that gives Zeal Vest, very, very nice. We can then pull out our Commandos immediately if this isn't answered. We'll probably kick the Dun Banner. I don't feel it's a very powerful one in this round 3. We could even maybe get rid of Revenant, but at that point we're risking a little bit the Commandos. The one problem is we don't have Draug at the moment, and that's, you know, kind of a very nice finisher. We'd love to have it. So I'm going to take the mulligan, and it pays off. We do get Draug. So that's going to be very, very powerful if we're able to pull the Commandos out of the deck. We might have to do a little bit of baitery, make the opponent kill some of our other stuff. We do have that Arbalist into another Arbalist with Henselt, so that's going to be the opening play here. I guess we could also have used it on the Commando to guarantee that we get it out, but we're kind of missing some value if we end up being able to pull them out naturally, so I don't think it's too bad. Going to be a Ragnarok though, which is pretty scary, I'm not going to lie. Throwing down Botchling sounds fine. Maybe even into front row is better there, because we could tank some damage with it, but whatever. We'll put that down. We could have also played the Commando, I guess, but kind of want to at least try with the Vest to proc the Zeal on that, because otherwise a bit vulnerable to removal. We do have a Necromancy though, so that will allow us to, you know, revive it effectively if we need to. Which we might. I'm not sure what's going on with the Ragnaru. It's a bit scary. There might be a Dragon's Dream as well, and that would be very painful if we have to deal with it. Here we could just shoot this down, but I don't really feel a need to. Not too threatening, this Guara, so I think we're just going to go ahead and play Unicorn here. I'm not sure if playing it in this row is correct, but whatever. It's probably wrong. Typically you want to make sure that front row is not full up, because your Revenants can copy themselves if the row isn't full, of course. And yeah. Gonna be a trebuchet. I mean, that's like, we should have committed either to front or back, I feel like. But now we're just a bit half and half. But whatever. Not the end of the world, I don't suppose. Maybe now we go back row with the Commandos. We can actually kill the trebuchet just with pure damage, so that's kind of nice. Since we already have a couple of humans on the front, I don't think we need too many more there. Alternatively, we just have Vest. Maybe that's better, to be honest. Yeah, I think I like this. Because that will allow us to kill the trebuchet, save a bunch of our shots with these guys, and we'll then be able to give the Commandos Zeal if Vest isn't answered. Force some removal from the opponent potentially. I'm just a bit worried that we're not going to have any points. I don't think the opponent will either. We have 6 damage that's unused right now. And a bunch more coming with Draug and Revenants, but if we don't have any points on our side of the board either, then things might get hairy since we don't have last say. Could be a bit painful. But we'll see how it goes. Might be a Hubert as well. Sometimes a thing in Meave, although it doesn't really synergize with weather, so that's fine. Alright, looks nice. So we do get that Commando proc off. Very, very cool. And this is really where the deck is hitting its stride, I suppose you could say. We're going to shoot a couple of times with each of these, just in case they end up dying. I'd really rather not waste all of the damage there, so we'll shoot a couple of times on each in case, you know, one of them is taken out. I imagine they would have died already, but you know, the opponent might have some removal coming in now, or coming online soon. Rather not be super vulnerable to that. We're very ahead at the moment. And the Draug's going to be, you know, very powerful if we do have units to hit with it. Necromancy, on the other hand, is a little bit weak. We can, I guess, play Blue Stripe, actually. It's perfectly fine. Vest, we can definitely shoot down with these crossbow guys. Make sure she dies. And to be honest, yeah, I mean, Blue Dream on a scout is probably... Sorry, not Blue Dream. Necromancy on a scout is probably fine. If we want to do that, we can. And I think we're not really going to get a better target. If we play Draug first, then this scout is going to become bad, so we'll get this card out of the way. Make sure it isn't bricked, and then kill Vest. Stop any nasty Zeal plays from happening. We've got Vincent as well, which is looking fine. Looking just fine. Ogvis as well will be pretty powerful if there's any units on the board. Which right now it doesn't look like there are. Okay, we've got a Nevellans. So that means Dragon's Dream is probably going to be a thing. And that's pretty annoying, because now these units can't actually be hit by our Revenants when we spawn them. So that's kind of a bit of a pain in the butt, to be quite honest. Let's just play Vincent for now. Can shoot, I guess, if we want Aguara one time, why not? So Dragon's Dream wipes out like all of my points. It's pretty horrible. Basically, we'll have nothing left on the board after that. That might mean we just lose, to be honest. Dragon's Dream is very painful. Although it looks like they don't have it, because they've missed the time to play it. Either they don't have it, or they're just throwing the game away. Could be either. So, I mean, we could probably play Draug now. It won't really do much. We may as well shoot with Arbalest first if we're going to do that, and then play Draug. But we might get at least one shot off with this Revenant on the front, so it'll at least maybe do something here. Otherwise, it wouldn't do much at all. I guess the opponent might still have some row damage effect. Just not Dragon's Dream, which is nice. But Lacerate would also be, you know, very painful, or whatever else. Maybe they just didn't draw the combo pieces. Either way, we have a lot of dead Revenants, which is not something you see very often. It's pretty funny. Alright, so we can shoot the Anna, but we're probably preferring just to play Octfist, otherwise this effect won't go off, so we don't need to do that. We can kill our own Revenants, which doesn't do a whole lot, to be honest, because the row's already full, so I guess we can do it with this Revenant, though. Just to kind of distribute our points a little bit more nicely. We can do that, and then at the end we can fire off another Revenant shot and hopefully clone our guy again, along with the Octfist going off. I mean, I imagine we have enough points, but could still be something very nasty about to happen. Wouldn't count the opponent out yet.
To arms!
That's going to be just a Trident. So I mean, even with Lacerate, I think we're okay at this point. Boosting Anna doesn't really do a lot at this stage. So let's throw the Octfist off. We'll fire as well on the Anna. Revenant can kill this Nivellen. We don't really have any need to shoot with these other Revenants, so we'll just pass. Opponent has to make a ton of points. I think if they had Dragon's Dream we would have been in a little bit of trouble, but they didn't, so that ends up working out quite nicely for us. But we survived the long round against a Rag. Pure power of Pavetta and Commandos. So let's jump into another game and see if we can win again. Alright, we're going to be up against Crack this time round.
Fight for it.
Very exciting. So I think we can get rid of this Commando pretty safely. And then the question is, what is our next mulligan, if anything? Hand is looking pretty solid. And we do risk bricks if we mulligan, but we could maybe think about getting rid of Revenant, Arbalest if we're sure we don't want to play it this round as well. I kind of like that idea. I think we keep the rest. Alright, so how are we going to start this? Probably Witches are fine. We're going to get Marauded whatever we play, so playing the Drummer or Commander or whatever would be a little bit painful for us.
Let us put our steel to the test.
It's going to be the Marauder, and then we can go with maybe Drummer now. We can get Zeal onto the Commander with that, and it's pretty nice, right? We can also use this advantage to protect ourselves a little bit from the Bloodthirst.
Army's a waste of time for one like me.
Of course, we can pull those Commandos out if this guy goes unanswered. We don't have Pavetta this time round, so we have to kind of hope that that comes out on the top deck into the next round, but we do have Necromancy, so even if we get it into round 4, it's still going to look pretty good, and that is not what the opponent wants to see, I don't imagine. Pretty terrible play. 0 points, effectively, so we can definitely go with the Commandos now and push the advantage.
Nice mess you've got here.
And then we'll probably play that blue stripe boy as well.
I'm in no mood to talk.
Gonna be the opponent's Witches. Very nice to see those Marauders though, that's makes our life a lot easier. It's also worth noting that they might have spears if they're playing double Marauder. I think that's a bit of a tell sometimes. So we might have to bleed this Crack player a little bit in round 2. Let's go ahead and get the guy out the deck. Create another Commando. The rest of the cards in hand we don't really want to play, but I'm a little bit worried about going to a long round against spears. That wouldn't be very fun. So we'll see. Maybe we push, maybe we don't. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Who knows?
Don't you pester me.
We could play Draug this round if we don't care about having that finisher for later. And there's some merit to maybe doing that. We will have, of course, arbalists and other things to push later, like unicorns and whatnot. It will render Pavetta pretty obsolete, but that's just how it goes sometimes. I think Revenant here is probably fine, to be honest. It will most likely get removed, but if it sticks around, then we're going to have a really nice Sabrina to kind of close out the round. Most likely it'll die to Captain or whatever. That's okay. So we could just take a pass if we're a little bit worried about Wild Boar of the Sea. If we're not worried and want to continue, we could play Draug. I think passing's probably fine. But yeah, maybe we do want to... We could even play Necromancy, to be honest, on the Revenant and then threaten the Sabrina a second time. But I think passing here is probably okay. It doesn't feel amazing because there might be spears later, but it does force a 9-point card from the opponent, which is, you know, pretty big commitment. It's going to be a Horn, which can't say I'm too sad about. It's definitely a nice one to get from the opponent early on. Horn usually means they don't have spears, but, you know, different people doing different things. Could be playing anything. So we did draw the Pavetta, which is nice, but we can get rid of the Scout. I don't think we need that, and it's going to be a brick if we do get pushed in this round. The Arbalist, on the other hand, is, you know, pretty good. We are playing Pavetta on the dry pass, if he dry passes anyway. So we can keep that in hand and have it as a Henselt target if we need it. The opponent decides to push here, which would be a bit weird, but I've seen weird things from my time playing Gwent. I think we all have. And, I mean, he's actually going for it, the lunatic. So I think we just say, you know what, friend, I would love to confirm that card advantage and play that Arbalist with the Henselt ability. It'll be worth a ton of points. This Arbalist will probably die, which is a bit unfortunate. It's going to give us so much pushing power this round, and now we're threatening to take him to round 3 a card up, which is never a good look if you're a crack player without your Horn as well. We dodged the skull proc, so that's good. We can't now lose our 3 to just a crack ping. We'll have to commit something else if he wants to kill that. And the objective now is just to kind of survive and maintain that card. We don't want to lose it, if possible. And the botchling is going to allow us to play for engine value here. We'll be able to shoot a few times with the Arbalist as well, and, you know, try to kill this Harold. He's quite annoying because he can just proc the skulls for a point every turn if you don't kill him. I guess we could have also played Vess to remove that, but if we're able to save her for later, it might be nice. Arbalist is going to die pretty soon, but he's done his job. He's got the value he needed, and he helped his friend come out of the deck, so not too bad. We could also Necromancy the blue stripe Commando, and then Pavetta if we want to go for that, instead of a Necromancy on something else like Revenant or Arbalist, but we'll see. Here this looks like a pretty easy Vest, to be honest. We can finally shut that down with, of course, the proc from Arbalist, and maybe killing Unicorn's better, but to be honest, we're not really that, you know, threatened by the Karanex. Yes, it can kill Lubberkin, but not really too bad news. He gets an extra point from that. It's the same as killing the Harold effectively. Perhaps he'll get more value from it later, I suppose, but he's going to go and fire that off now. We did manage to keep the Arbalist alive with the Lubberkin, so that's very cool. Does look like now we're finding a little bit of trouble in terms of keeping ahead, so that's not what you like to see. In fact, I'm not even sure I can keep ahead right now. We've got Draug, doesn't do it. Sabrina doesn't do it. Margarita doesn't, and Pavetta also does not. So I guess we could play Necromancy. It's just not really getting there. There's no one on his board to kill with a Vess and Necromancy. So I guess we just play Pavetta and accept that we lost our card. Not sure it's the end of the world because the opponent has committed a ton of their good cards here. Might be okay.
You stand before the Queen of
We might have to go with the Draug now just to you know, prevent ourselves getting overwhelmed here. There's a skirmisher, which is pretty annoying. But yeah, I think it's time for the Draug. And the opponent will probably see this and decide to get out of the round, I imagine. It's a little bit hard to contest the Revenants. It's going to be their pass. So here, probably Sabrina's going to be quite bad later on. I think we can safely throw her out. And we have Necromancy onto a 6-point Revenant, which is quite strong, it must be said. Difficult engine to remove. We did end up using hero power, which is kind of a shame, but I'm not even sure it's that bad because we've shortened the round against Crack, which is typically quite a good thing to do. And we managed to get that Pavetta for a nice 12-point bronze, if we're able to, of course, pull these out of the deck. Now, do we mulligan Dunbanner here? I think it's probably fine, to be honest. That being said, it's maybe not even a bad card here. Margarita might be worse. You don't expect there to be many lock targets for good old Skellige, so I'm going to go for the mulligan there. We get another Dunbanner, which might be bad, I suppose. But go ahead and play Commando. If this isn't answered by him, then we're in really good shape. If it is, then, well, that might be trouble. We, of course, can Necromancy it if we need to.
Not your lucky day.
And it looks like Professional gets played on him. Wow, that is a commitment. And I think, yeah, I mean, it's a 12-point play effectively if this survives. The fact that he used a Professional there indicates that probably there's no Jenge to lock it, so... And I mean, there's no way to even activate that now. And no Ifrit or anything. So I think we're probably just safe to play it at this point. And the opponent's going to decide that's too many points. I think they'd played all of their good cards already. And had not much left to use. So, some pretty convincing wins. I think this deck can be tricky to pilot, and if you play it incorrectly, you're going to end up losing. But it is a lot of fun, and it is, you know, pretty okay. Pretty strong for Northern Realms, I found. Do give it a try if you feel like it. Do subscribe for more videos if you feel like it. And thanks for watching. I will see you next time.